Imagine this. You're waiting in line at a cafe. The guy ahead of you just stepped out of a shiny Mercedes, he's wearing a flashy designer watch, and he's loudly arguing with the cashier because his card won't go through for a $6 coffee. Meanwhile, the woman behind him quietly pays with cash, walks out to a slightly faded Toyota Corolla, and goes on with her day. Later, you learn something surprising. She owns 3 rental properties and has a net worth of nearly $8 million. Welcome to one of the strangest truths about money. The people who look wealthy are often drowning in payments, and the people who look completely average are sometimes quietly rich. I'm Vanessa, and I spend an unhealthy amount of time studying how real wealth is actually built. Not the Instagram version, the boring, real-life version. If you're tired of the usual advice about working harder and budgeting better while ignoring the psychological habits that separate the wealthy from everyone else, make sure you're subscribed. And if this video changes the way you think about money, hit the like button too. Because today we're talking about one of the most powerful and misunderstood wealth strategies out there: acting broke. Now, before you roll your eyes, this isn't about pretending to struggle, and it's definitely not about being cheap. It's about something researchers call stealth wealth. And once you understand it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Here's the big idea. Most people think wealth means looking wealthy. Nice car, luxury vacations, expensive clothes. The moment their income increases, their lifestyle increases right along with it. But the people who actually become wealthy play a completely different game. They focus on being wealthy, not appearing wealthy. And the difference between those two approaches is enormous. One requires spending money. The other requires keeping it. Which means choosing the wrong strategy doesn't just slow down wealth building. It can completely prevent it. Let's start with the math, because the math is brutally honest. Imagine 2 people. One earns $70,000 a year but lives like they earn $45,000. The other earns $120,000 but spends nearly every dollar keeping up a luxury lifestyle. Who ends up wealthier? The first person, because they're investing the difference. If that first person saves $25,000 per year and invests it consistently, they'll build serious wealth over time. Meanwhile, the high earner with expensive habits might save almost nothing. Income matters, but savings rate matters more. And acting broke protects that savings rate like nothing else. But here's where things get really interesting. Acting broke isn't just a financial advantage. It's a psychological advantage too. When you consistently live below your means, you gain something incredibly powerful: options. Picture this. A small startup offers you a position. The salary is lower than your current job, but the equity could be huge if the company succeeds. Most people can't take that opportunity. Their mortgage, car payments, and lifestyle depend on their current paycheck. But if you've been acting broke and stacking savings, you can take that bet. The same thing applies to starting a business. Buying an investment property, taking a sabbatical to build a new skill. Opportunities exist everywhere, but they're only accessible to people who have financial breathing room. And that breathing room usually comes from years of living below your means. There's another benefit to stealth wealth that people rarely talk about. It protects you from other people's expectations. The moment people think you have money, things change. Friends expect you to pick up dinner, family members ask for small loans, vendors suddenly quote higher prices. Even worse, visible wealth attracts scams, lawsuits, and opportunists. But when you appear financially ordinary, you move through the world unnoticed. People treat you normally. You avoid social pressure, and you keep your financial life private. That invisibility is incredibly valuable. Another hidden advantage of acting broke is something psychologists call decision fatigue. Every upgrade in your lifestyle adds more decisions. A bigger house means more maintenance. A luxury car means more research, payments, insurance, and worry. Fancy gadgets, designer clothes, expensive hobbies, they all consume time and mental energy. But when your lifestyle stays simple, your brain has more bandwidth for things that actually matter: your career, your investments, your relationships, your long-term goals. Instead of constantly managing possessions, you focus on building assets. This leads to a fascinating paradox. The more someone practices stealth wealth, the richer they often become. And the richer they become, the less they feel the need to prove it. But let's be honest about something. This strategy isn't always easy. We live in a culture obsessed with visible success. People celebrate consumption, new cars, luxury trips, expensive watches. So when your coworkers upgrade their lifestyle and you're still driving an older car, it can feel like you're falling behind. Social media makes this even worse. It looks like everyone else is winning. But here's what most people don't realize. Many of those lifestyles are built on debt. Car leases, credit cards, loans, high incomes with zero savings. And those lifestyles can collapse very quickly when income changes. The person practicing stealth wealth, on the other hand, is building stability. They can survive downturns, take advantage of opportunities, sleep peacefully knowing they have options. Of course, acting broke doesn't mean never spending money. The goal isn't deprivation, it's intentional spending. Stealth wealth practitioners still spend, but they spend on things that genuinely improve their lives, instead of things that impress strangers. For example, someone practicing stealth wealth might drive a used sedan, but they'll invest in their health, their education, their family experiences. They're not avoiding spending. They're avoiding status spending. And that distinction is incredibly important. Because status purchases rarely deliver lasting happiness. The excitement fades quickly. But investments in health, knowledge, and relationships compound for years. There's also a powerful psychological shift that happens when you stop buying things for other people's approval. You start making decisions based on your own values. Not trends, not expectations, not comparisons. That shift from external validation to internal motivation is one of the biggest turning points in a person's financial life, and it breaks the endless cycle of trying to keep up with everyone else. Eventually, something surprising happens. The longer you practice stealth wealth, the more selective you become with money. Not because you're afraid to spend, but because you understand opportunity cost. Spending $15,000 on a luxury item isn't just spending $15,000. It's giving up the future value of that money if it had been invested. And once you truly understand that trade-off, your spending decisions become much clearer. Ironically, this creates a strange paradox. The people who act broke the longest often become the wealthiest, and the wealthiest people often look the most ordinary. You'll find them driving practical cars, living in comfortable but modest homes, running quiet businesses that most people have never heard of. They're not chasing attention. They're building cash flow. And while the world focuses on appearances, they focus on ownership. So if you take one idea from this video, let it be this. Wealth isn't built by spending money like you're rich. It's built by not spending money while you quietly become rich. Your future millionaire self probably isn't driving a Lamborghini. They're driving something reliable, paid off, and slightly boring. And that's exactly how they got there.